Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's chant one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Welcome to today's Srimad.
My humble obeisances to you.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji.
As well as Srila Prabhupada.
So, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. I hope all of you had a wonderful Radhashtami festival yesterday. Very
Yes.
nice.
Very nice.
Unfortunately, today's Rath Yatra got cancelled, but we will celebrate it on a smaller scale in the temple.
The temple.
So let's recite Bhagavad Gita Sloka.
This time Lord Jagannath decided he wants to go out, but this time he will get cold because we are all going to see him.
Yeah. Jagannath wants to do it in Philly temple.
Different way. He wants us to go and see him.
Yeah.
Darshan.
So we are reciting Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 10. So Mataji, you can recite first the verse and the translation.
Tesham Satat. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Tesham Satatayuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayantite. Translation. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Achinta Dev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat, Prabhuji. Tesham satata yuktanam
Tesam satata yuktanam
bhajatam priti purvakam
bhajatam priti purvakam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
yena mam upayanti te.
yana mam upantite. Translation.
Upayanti te.
Yana mam upayantite.
Yes, translation.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Priyanka Mataji is not able to recite. Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam payanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Arunita.
Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam payanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Thanks.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So we discussed this verse already. Let's go to Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4. Ambarish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni, and we saw how when Durvasa Muni approached Lord Vishnu and accepting his offense at the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj, he prayed to Lord Vishnu to relieve him from that offense, because the Sudarshan Chakra is chasing after him and he is not able to bear the heat and he is fearful. So he is begging Lord Vishnu to relieve him from that offense, because anything is possible for the Lord. And there the Lord made it clear to Durvasa Muni that he is completely controlled by his devotees. His devotees are completely attached to him, dedicated to his service. They take any type of risk for his sake, and they have only one goal in life. They only know him, they don't know anything else. And he is always in their heart. And to such devotees, the Lord also reciprocates accordingly. The Lord says, I also know no one but my devotees. My devotees always in my heart. So the conclusion of all this is, there's nothing that the Lord can do. You have offended Ambarish Maharaj, there's nothing that I am able to do. So your best solution or your best course of action would be to go to Ambarish Maharaj himself and beg forgiveness from him. There's nothing that I'm able to do. Let's read the translations, last few translations, to see what the Lord said. See, from here, Lord Vishnu speaking to Durvasa Muni. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the cores of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. O best of the Brahmanas, without saintly persons, for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my supreme opulences. Since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or in the next, how can I give up such devotees at any time? As chaste women bring their gentle husbands under control by service, the pure devotees who are equal to everyone and completely attached to me in the core of the heart bring me under their full control. My devotees who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service are not interested even in the four principles of liberation, Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya and Sharshti, although these are automatically achieved by their service. What then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary systems? Text 68. The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. O Brahmana, let me now advise you for your own protection. Please hear from me. By offending Maharaj Ambarish, you have acted with self-envy. Therefore, you should go to him immediately, without a moment's delay. One's so-called prowess, when employed against the devotee, certainly harms he who employs it. Thus, it is the subject, not the object, who is harmed. Also, we read 70 the other day. For a Brahmana, austerity and learning are certainly auspicious, but when acquired by a person who is not gentle, such austerity and learning are most dangerous. So, this is in the context of Durvasa Muni. So, he is a Brahmana. So, austerity and learning are auspicious for a Brahmana. By austerity and learning, he makes advancement. He makes advancement in spiritual life, because austerity and learning are bringing the person to the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, you realize that you're not this body. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. From the mode of goodness, knowledge is produced. Knowledge means that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. So austerity and learning are very good for a Brahmana. But when these austerity and learning are used by somebody who's not gentle, like we have the demons like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana. Ravana was very, very learned. He was a very learned scholar. Nevertheless, what was the result of all that learning? He stole Sita Devi away from Lord Ramchandra. He wanted to kill Lord Ramchandra. That was his intelligence after all that learning. So, such learning is compared to the jewel on the head of a serpent. A serpent with a jewel is no less dangerous than a serpent without a jewel. Simply because a serpent has a jewel, you cannot bring that serpent and put it nicely, in your house to decorate. You cannot do that. It is still very, very dangerous. Maybe even more dangerous. So similarly, those who are not gentle, those who are demoniac, when they perform austerities and when they are learned, they use those results not for progressing in spiritual life. Rather, they use them for their personal sense gratification, and not just personal sense gratification. Actually, with that learning and austerity, they cause destruction to others. And because they're causing destruction to others, it leads to their own destruction. That's why the Lord said, it is the subject which is harmed, not the object. So Prabhupada also gave the example of modern uh, technology scientists. They have invented uh, the atom bomb, nuclear bombs, and other things which are causing mass destruction. But what is the result? With all that learning and austerity, they have invented something which is causing destruction. By that, they themselves will also be destroyed. So, the Lord, what is the Lord saying? You should go immediately without a moment's delay to Ambarish Maharaj. When you have acted with envy against Ambarish Maharaj, you are acting against yourself. That's going to destroy you only. Whatever you have used to destroy him, that's going to come back and destroy you. And to substantiate that, the Lord is saying that austerity and learning are useful for a Brahmana, but the same austerity and learning, when used by a person who is not gentle, then they are not useful. Rather, they cause destruction. They are dangerous. Now, the last verse of this chapter, Brahmam stadgacha bhadram te nabhaga tanayam nripam Shamapaya Mahabhagam Tatah Shantir Bhavishyati. So we'll just begin with Vindhyavali Mataji. Give me the translation.
Mataji,
You're in mute.
we did not get a chance at all.
You didn't read the other day?
No. Saujanya Mataji was reading, but after that I don't know.
Yeah, so after Saujanya Mataji, Vindhyavali Mataji, then you'll get your turn.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Mataji. You're in mute, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O best of the Brahmanas, you should therefore go immediately to King Ambarisha, the son of Maharaja Nabhaga. I wish you all good fortune. If you can satisfy Maharaja Ambarisha, then there will be peace for you. Purport.
Okay, Mataji, go ahead, because it's all just Sanskrit. Go ahead.
Purport. In this regard, Madhava Muni quotes from the Garuda Purana, Brahmadi Bhakti Kote Amshad Amso Naivambari Sake Naivan Yasya Chakrasyapi Tatapi Harir Ishwaraha. You want me to read all of them?
Yeah, if you don't mind, or if you want, I can recite whatever you want.
Whatever you say, Mataji.
Go ahead.
If you are reading, Tatkaliko Peshyati Tatkaliko Pashe Yatvat Tesam Yeshasa Adhirat Brahmadhyas Cha Tat Kirtim Vyanyayam Ashur Uttamam Mohanaya Cha Daityanam Brahmadi Nindanya Cha Nindanyaya Cha Anyartam Cha Swayam Vishnur Brahmadhyas Cha Nirashisa Manushe Suttamatva Cha Tesham Bhaktiyadibhir Guna Gunai, Brahmander Vishnu Adhinatva ज्ञापन्या च केवलम दुर्वास च स्वयं रुद्रास तथाप्य अन्यायम् उक्तवान् तस्याप्यै अनुरागार्थाय दर्प नाशार्थम एव च. Hare Krishna. The lesson to be derived from this narration concerning Maharaj Ambarisha and Durvasa Muni is that all the demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are under the control of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, when a Vaishnava is offended, the offender is punished by Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. No one can protect such a person, even Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna.
That's in the Bhaktivedanta
The
purport.
Bhaktivedanta purports of the ninth canto, 4th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Ambarish Maharaj Offended by Durvasa Muni.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Srimati.
So the Lord is saying finally to Durvasa Muni, O best of the Brahmanas, you should therefore go immediately to King Ambarish, the son of Maharaj Nabhaga. All of you remember Nabhaga's story? Nabhaga is the son of Nabhaga. Nabhaga's had how many sons he had? 4 sons. Anyway, the 3 sons. So of the 3 sons, the other 2 took all the wealth of the father, and Nabhaga, who was in the ashram of his guru, they thought he's not going to come home, so they just divided the property amongst themselves, right? So I won't tell the whole, we just read it a few times, but finally they said okay. And when he came home, the brother said, we are giving you our father as your share of property. And then he said, oh, okay. And he told his father, so my brother said, you are my share of property. So the father said, they are cheating you. I am not your property. And then he said, anyway, I'll help you. So like that, he guided him to go to one particular place where they were doing yagya, like that. So ultimately, because of his obedience to his father, and also he was not a greedy person. When he found out that all the wealth of that yagya, which he was supposed to collect, the sages had given him, but when he found out that it belonged to Lord Shiva, he gave it all to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, being very pleased with this king Nabhaga's service attitude to his father and his honesty, his truthfulness, he not only gave him all the wealth, but the most important wealth, he gave him transcendental knowledge. And finally, there is Phalashruti. Anyone who hears this story about King Nabhaga, the result is he will become self-realized. Such Nabhaga's son is King Ambarish Maharaj. So now here the Lord is telling Durvasa Muni that you should therefore go immediately to King Ambarish, the son of Maharaj Nabhaga.
Oh.
I wish you all good fortune. If you can satisfy Maharaj Ambarish, then there will be peace for you. So after giving all this introduction to devotees, what is the Lord's relationship with the devotees? What is the position of his devotees? Then finally the Lord said, there's nothing I can do. You have to go to Ambarish Maharaj himself. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is quoting Madhva Muni's quote from Garuda Purana. So these verses are from Garuda Purana as quoted by Madhva Muni. So what is the lesson to be learned from these verses of Garuda Purana? The lesson to be derived from this narration concerning Maharaj Ambarish and Durvasa Muni is that all the demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are under the control of Lord Vishnu, because the Sudarshan Chakra belongs to Lord Vishnu. And when the Sudarshan Chakra was after Durvasa Muni tried to get help from Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Nobody could do anything. Why? Because, and they said also, who is Lord Vishnu and what is our position? All of us are moving in our particular planets by His will, by His power. What power do we have? If He has decided to do something, what can we do? So, the same, that is the lesson to be learned here. From this episode of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni, the lesson to be derived is that all the demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, then what to speak of others? Even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are under the control of Lord Vishnu. When a Vaishnava is offended, the offender is punished by Vishnu, because the Lord is completely controlled by the Vaishnava, by the devotee. Why he is controlled by the devotee? Because the devotee is completely surrendered to him. The devotee has no separate agenda other than pleasing the Lord. Therefore, the Lord becomes controlled by such a devotee. And when anyone offends such a devotee, the devotee may not take any action. The devotee won't take any action, but the Lord personally takes again action against that person who offends a Vaishnava. That's the lesson to be learned. No one can protect such a person, even Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. So when the Lord decides to punish someone, can anyone protect that person? Mare Krishna rakhe ke, right? If Krishna wants to kill someone, who can protect him? Rakhe Krishna mare ke. If Krishna wants to protect someone, who can harm that person? Nobody can even touch one strand of hair on his head. If Krishna is giving protection. That is seen in the case of Ambarish Maharaj. How nicely Ambarish Maharaj is protected. Durvasa Muni tried to kill him. By his mystic power, he created this demon who looked just like the fire at the time of universal annihilation. So dangerous. But that demon couldn't even touch Ambarish Maharaj, because the Lord is protecting his devotee. Who can harm when the Lord protects his devotee? Prahlad Maharaj. The Lord was protecting him in spite of all, endeavors by Hiranyakashipu. He couldn't even slightly hurt or harm Prahlad Maharaj, because the Lord protects. So when the Lord protects someone, what demon has the power to hurt a devotee? And then when the Lord decides to kill someone, who can give him protection? That is Durvasa Muni. The Sudarshan Chakra went after him wherever he went, any planet, even up to Brahmaloka, Kailash, the Sudarshan Chakra was after him. So that's the lesson we learn from. So this is Madhva Muni's quote from Garuda Purana, and from this the lesson we are learning from this whole episode of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni is, first thing is that everyone, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are under the control of Lord Vishnu. And if anyone tries to hurt a Vaishnava, the Lord personally takes action, protects that devotee, and also he punishes that person. And when the Lord decides to punish someone, no one can protect that person, not even Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. With that, we conclude this chapter, but it is not yet over. The pastime continues. Chapter 5, Durvasa Muni's life spared. In this chapter, we find Maharaj Ambarish offering prayers to the Sudarshan Chakra. Ambarish Maharaj is offering prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. And we find how the Sudarshan Chakra became merciful to Durvasa Muni. That's the subject matter of this chapter. By the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, Durvasa Muni immediately went to Maharaj Ambarish and fell at his lotus feet. Maharaj Ambarish, being naturally very humble and meek, felt shy and ashamed because Durvasa Muni had fallen at his feet, and thus he began to offer prayers to the Sudarshan Chakra just to save Durvasa. What is this Sudarshan Chakra? The Sudarshan Chakra is the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is Sudarshan Chakra? Sudarshan Chakra is the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he creates the entire material world. Sa Aikshata, Sa Asrijata. This is the Vedic version. The Sudarshan Chakra, Sa Aikshata, means he cast his glance. Karanodakashayi Vishnu casts his glance, right? Sa Aikshata, Sa Asrijata. And by glancing, he has created. Saha means he. So this is the Vedic version. The Sudarshan Chakra, which is the origin of the creation, is most dear to the Lord, has thousands of spokes. This Sudarshan Chakra is the killer of the prowess of all other weapons. That means when any other weapon encounters Sudarshan Chakra, that weapon loses all its power. This Sudarshan Chakra is the killer of the prowess of all other weapons, the killer of darkness, and the manifester of the prowess of devotional service. Not only that, the Sudarshan Chakra manifests the power of devotional service. It is the means of establishing religious principles, and it is the killer of all irreligious activities. Without his mercy, the universe cannot be maintained, and therefore the Sudarshan Chakra is employed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are hearing in this chapter about the glories of Sudarshan Chakra. Without Sudarshan Chakra's mercy, the universe cannot be maintained, and therefore the Sudarshan Chakra is employed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Maharaj Ambarish thus prayed that the Sudarshan Chakra be merciful, the Sudarshan Chakra, being appeased, refrained from killing Durvasa Muni, who thus achieved the Sudarshan Chakra's mercy. Durvasa Muni thus learned to give up the nasty idea of considering a Vaishnava an ordinary person. Vaishnave Jati Buddhi. Jati Buddhi means Vaishnava belongs to this Jati, this caste, or this nationality. No, that is considering Vaishnava to be an ordinary person. So Durvasa Muni, by this whole experience, learned to give up the nasty idea of considering a Vaishnava an ordinary person. Vaishnava Jati Buddhi. Maharaj Ambarish belonged to the Kshatriya group, and therefore Durvasa Muni considered him lower than the Brahmanas and wanted to exercise Brahminical power against him. By this incident, everyone should learn how to stop mischievous ideas of neglecting Vaishnavas. After this incident, Maharaj Ambarish gave Durvasa Muni sumptuous food to eat. And then the king, who had been standing in the same place for 1 year without eating anything, also took prasad. Maharaj Ambarish later divided. Yeah, it took 1 year for Durvasa Muni to travel to different planets, to Brahmaloka, to Shivaloka, to Vaikuntha Loka. Finally, when he came back, meanwhile 1 year had passed in Ambarish on the earth. And all this while, for the whole 1 year, Ambarish Maharaj is just standing there because Durvasa Muni is his guest. He was supposed to take prasadam, and out of anger, right, he tried to attack Ambarish Maharaj, and meanwhile Sudarshan Chakra went after him. So Ambarish Maharaj is standing and waiting that Durvasa Muni will come back and take prasadam. He didn't eat anything for this whole 1 year. So after Durvasa Muni came and fell on his feet, anyway, we'll read this whole thing in this chapter. So this is just the summary. So then, after 1 year, now after feeding Durvasa Muni, Maharaj Ambarish later divided his he also took prasadam. Then later, Maharaj Ambarish divided his property among his sons and went to the bank of the Manasa Sarovar to execute devotional meditation. So that is the life of Ambarish Maharaj. Now let's read the verses. So, Achintadev Prabhu, right? Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Sri Shuka Uvacha Evam Bhagavataadishto Durvasaschakratapitaha Ambarisham Upavritya Tatpadau Dukhito Grahit.
Mataji, before I read, if you permit me, I had a question in the previous chapter.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Mataji, so our understanding from there, is it that when a pure devotee is misbehaved, or we are asked to be tolerant, right? So when a pure devotee is not treated the way it should, like what happened here, so should we continue to remain tolerant, or because knowing that Krishna will take care of it?
If you are in the presence where a pure devotee is being mistreated, what should you do? Is that your question?
Yes, based on the previous chapter's conclusion.
What was
Because
the conclusion? Previous
in the
chapter's
previous
conclusion?
chapter, we understood that Krishna will take care of the Vaishnavas if they are offended.
Of course, but then what is our role? So we'll simply be passive? No.
No, we should not. That was understood. So I was just trying to relate.
Yeah, no, you cannot be like that. In fact, that's an offense. If you
Yes.
simply stand there and not do anything when a Vaishnava is being offended, blasphemed, criticized, attacked, and if you are just a spectator there, no, then there are three. That's an offense. That's an offense. So one person who is blaspheming, he is offending certainly. But if you don't say anything in that situation, if you silently watch what's going on, or you don't want to get into trouble, so you just keep quiet, then you are also part of that offense. You are also committing an offense to that Vaishnava. So three options are given what you should do in that situation. First option is you should. I'm trying to think of the sequence. What comes first, what comes next, and what comes last. So first is you should go and cut off the tongue of the person who blasphemed. If you are not able to do that, right, because the other person who did it is also maybe superior to you and you're not able to do that, or for whatever reason you're not able to do that, go and cut off that person's tongue. Or it's also said that philosophically you should defeat that person. You should say, no, this is wrong, and you have to prove that you cannot blaspheme. You have to do something about it. And if you're not able to do anything like that, you're not able to stop that blasphemy, and you're not able to even cut off the other person's tongue, then you should get up and leave that place. Don't stay there and be part of that offense. When two people or a group of people are sitting and blaspheming Vaishnava, don't stay there. Either first step is you should stop them. Philosophically, you should immediately stop that, because simply by your going away, that offense is not being stopped. So if you can, you should try to stop it. But if it is beyond your capacity to stop it, at least get away from there so that you are not part of it. And the third thing is, if you're not even able to go away, so in some cases where, let's say, you're locked up in the room or whatever like that, you're not able to go away, you're forced to stay there to hear that blasphemy, then for hearing that blasphemy and not for not going away from there, you should kill yourself. That's how serious it is. These are the three. So for us,
Very
the
strong
best,
conclusion.
yeah,
Strong conclusions. There, it's
yes.
not that easy.
No, but so that means we should understand how serious it is. We take it for granted and we give. So just get up and walk away. That's all. That's what we are able to do. Just get up and walk away. Don't be part of that. And if it is someone who is your subordinate or your equal also, where you have that power to speak and tell, then immediately stop that. Don't talk like that. You can stop them. But if it is in a situation where you're not able to say anything, then just get up and walk away. That way actually you'll be giving a message to them also that you don't approve of what they're doing, and they may also stop what they're, the blasphemy. But yeah, we have to do something. Of course, the Lord protects his devotees, but then the Lord also protects through his devotees. So it's like, yeah, we have to do our part. We have to do our part. We cannot just be passive. These are the three uh, actually steps given one after another. If not this, if you're not able to do the first, then do second. If you're not able to do the second, then do the third, like that. But yeah, best is just to walk away from there.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So then you read the translation.
Yeah. Translation. Sukdev Goswami said, when thus advised by Lord Vishnu, Durvasa Muni, who was very much harassed by the Sudarshan Chakra, immediately approached Maharaj Ambarish. Being very much aggrieved, the Muni fell down and clasped the king's lotus feet. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So now, when Lord Vishnu advised Durvasa Muni, you should go immediately to Ambarish Maharaj, and no one is able to help, right? Isn't that what was the last translation? O best of the Brahmanas, you should therefore go immediately to King Ambarish, the son of Maharaj Nabhaga. I wish you all good fortune. If you can satisfy Maharaj Ambarish, then there will be peace for you. Yes. So you have only one way out now. If somehow or other you are able to go and pacify Maharaj Ambarish, if he forgives you, in other words, then you are saved. And if he does not forgive you, you are doomed. There's nothing I can do. So then, after listening to this, Durvasa Muni, he was very much harassed by this Sudarshan Chakra. The Sudarshan Chakra was still after him. Of course, while in Vaikuntha, he was talking with Lord Vishnu, but he immediately came to Maharaj Ambarish. The Sudarshan Chakra is still after him. And being very much aggrieved, he fell down at the lotus feet of Maharaj Ambarish and he clasped his lotus feet. Tasya sodyamam avikshya padasparsha vilajjitah astavi tadharer astram kripaya pidito bhrisham. Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita.
When Durvasa touched his lotus feet, Maharaj Ambarish was very much ashamed, and when he saw Durvasa attempting to offer prayers because of mercy, he was aggrieved even more. Thus, he immediately began offering prayers to the great weapon of the Supreme Personality of God.
Yes. So you see, the heart of a Vaishnava, Ambarish Maharaj didn't take any offense that Durvasa Muni tried to kill him. He was not being reasonable at all. All Ambarish Maharaj can think, all I did was I was just trying to complete my Ekadasi on time, and even then I only took a few drops of water simply to break my Ekadasi, to do my Paran on time. And for that he tried to kill me. He deserves this. We may think like that. Someone who has done some wrong to us, then we may feel happy in our heart if they suffer. Oh, they deserve it for what they have done. Isn't it? But this is a Vaishnava, Ambarish Maharaj. He didn't think at all that in fact, when Durvasa Muni, and even, when such a person, after doing, after suffering for what he has done, Finally, he comes to his senses and comes and begs forgiveness from you. You know, I really did this wrong to you, and I am suffering. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. Even then, how would an ordinary person feel? Finally, you have understood what you have done. You know, it's not easy to forgive you, but whatever. Something like that. But how was Ambarish Maharaj feeling? Ambarish Maharaj was feeling ashamed. Durvasa Muni, right? Atithi Devo Bhava, it is said. When Atithi comes to your home, he's treated like God. You serve him the way you serve God when Atithi, a guest, comes to your house. And Ambarish Maharaj is here waiting that my guest hasn't eaten for 1 year. He's feeling sorry and he's standing there. And finally, when Durvasa Muni comes, instead of coming and sitting down to eat, he falls on the feet of Ambarish Maharaj. And all this is because for the protection of Ambarish Maharaj, the Sudarshan Chakra is going after Ambarish Maharaj's guest, Durvasa Muni. So he's feeling so ashamed because of me, how much this Durvasa Muni has to suffer. He's feeling ashamed. And also he was feeling embarrassed. Shy means here he's feeling embarrassed. Such a great sage is falling on my feet. Right? He's a sadhu. He's a brahmana. And he's a sadhu, a renunciate, a sage, a tapasvi. And I'm a king, a kshatriya. He's falling on my feet. He's feeling shy. He's feeling embarrassed. And also he's feeling so bad for Durvasa Muni. This is the consciousness of Ambarish Maharaj, of a Vaishnava. When Durvasa touched his lotus feet, Ambarish Maharaj was very much ashamed. And when he saw Durvasa attempting to offer prayers, now Durvasa Muni, after falling on the feet, he was trying to beg forgiveness and offer prayers to Maharaj Ambarish because of mercy. So a Vaishnava's heart is so soft. It is so soft. That's why Vaishnavas feel compassion for the suffering souls, because their heart simply melts when they see the suffering of the conditioned souls, how much they suffer. For themselves, they have no pain. Vaishnavas don't feel any pain for themselves, any amount of misery, because they're always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. They're never in the material world. Material pain or pleasure is all the same for them. They're always Tushyanticha, Ramanticha, right? Raman Karna. They're always relishing Krishna consciousness. So they don't feel anything in this world. Whether it is pain or pleasure, it is all the same to them. But when they see others, because of lack of Krishna consciousness, how they are suffering, and even their so-called enjoyment, some people, they are madly intoxicated by their wealth, by their position, by their power, beauty. Vaishnavas feel sorry for them. That person is thinking he's enjoying, and Vaishnava cries for that person. Because this happiness is not real happiness. It's not going to last. And whatever you are enjoying now, you will be suffering equally after that. There's never only pleasure in material existence. Pleasure comes with pain, always. So don't get entangled in pleasure and pain. So when a Vaishnava sees, his only pain is when he sees others suffering. And he feels so much pain, his heart literally melts out of compassion. And it starts flowing towards those suffering souls. And he takes so much risk to somehow or other give them Krishna consciousness. He risks his own life for the sake of giving all these suffering souls Krishna consciousness. You take the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is playing the role of a devotee. He took sannyas for the sake of people who are rebelling against him. You look at Srila Prabhupada, look at all our acharyas, the Goswamis. They have renounced their homes, their opulence, their wealth, and their comfortable position where they were actually practicing Krishna consciousness very nicely. For themselves, they were very nicely situated in Krishna consciousness. But simply for the sake of all the suffering souls of this world, They give up their nice situation. Srila Prabhupada gives up his Vrindavan, residence in Vrindavan at the age of 70, and he crosses the ocean even though he's a sannyasi, which is considered a taboo, right? For a sannyasi to cross the ocean, they think, oh, now he's finished. He's lost his, position as a sannyasi. Taking all that risk, he has come simply to carry out the order of his spiritual master, which is the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what is that? To deliver all the conditioned souls. So this is the conscious, this is the compassion of a Vaishnava. So here Ambarish Maharaj, when he saw that Durvasa Muni, after going through all this pain, is now about to offer prayers to Ambarish Maharaj. He's going to beg forgiveness and he's going to literally, he put his head already down on the feet of Ambarish Maharaj, clasped his feet. And now he was going to offer prayers to Ambarish Maharaj. Seeing the condition of Durvasa Muni, how humiliating it must be, isn't it, for someone in that position to actually bow down so low? Ambarish Maharaj felt so much mercy for Durvasa Muni out of his soft heart, because of his soft heart, because of mercy. And he was aggrieved. He was aggrieved even more. First of all, he is feeling ashamed. And then when he saw the position of Durvasa Muni, he was more aggrieved. So he immediately started offering prayers to Sudarshan Chakra, so that Sudarshan Chakra may stop worrying Ambarish Maharaj, may just release Ambarish Maharaj. I'm sorry, Durvasa Muni. So Ambarish Maharaj is now offering
Mataji,
prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, in this situation, no, I would definitely not wait to eat for 1 year. Once he's gone, I would have thought, let me eat sumptuously.
But if we eat also, Mataji, when a person comes and asks for forgiveness, even our material life also, suppose it happens to, I'm telling some experiences also. If they come and say, sorry, I did wrong, I just spoke something to you badly, I did this thing I should not have done, I'm sorry. So that, that makes so much, not that happiness. Oh God, that big person is saying to me, sorry. He realized what he said to me. But, I'm feeling so uncomfortable when he says sorry to me.
Yeah.
So sometimes it happens that.
But if it happens, that is a very good thing, Mataji, because then from the bottom of the heart, blessing also comes. Like if
Yeah.
someone actually, asks for forgiveness, then we automatically blesses that person that, oh, he's so humble and I'm thankful to him. And then that is blessing for that person.
And we may not stay fasting, till he comes 1 year. We don't have that much strength, like Aditi said. But we just feel that when he comes and says forgiveness like that, oh God, we feel so uncomfortable, that such a big, highly educated or highly knowledgeable person did to me. I don't feel proud of that. I feel so uncomfortable that situation. That's
Because you're
what
a devotee.
that's what I don't know whether, but I mean, devotee or not. From bottom of
From
my heart.
from Shastra, we understand the symptoms that when someone feels like that, that's a devotee. He feels bad that someone, such a high person is coming and begging for gift. And even if someone, see from examples of Vasudeva and Devaki,
Yeah.
Kamsa killed all the sons, and then finally when he begged forgiveness, they forgave him. They were not holding anything. This is a Vaishnava. They don't hold anything in their heart, and if they come and beg for forgiveness, they just forget everything. It's okay.
Same thing
But
Kunti Maharani did also for that Dronacharya's son,
Ashwatthama,
Ashwatthama. See, Arjuna brings him, just do
Draupadi,
whatever you want. Draupadi, I'm sorry. So
yes.
that's very humiliated, this thing, that
Yeah.
Kunti Maharani excuses that. Draupadi excuses that.
Yes. Yes.
So that is very big heart she has to have.
Yeah.
The only
But
point in this, Mataji, that of course they are devotees, they excused. But if we see those people who did wrong, they were not excused by Krishna.
Ah.
They were destroyed anyways, whether
yeah,
they
we are nobody to punish them.
yeah,
Just God is there.
correct.
You just surrender to God, He will take care of it. That's it. That's what I
Yeah.
felt.
Yes. And Krishna will take care of it means you leave it in Krishna's hands.
It's
Not
Ashan.
that Krishna will punish and I will see. I don't have to do, Krishna will punish. Not even like that. You leave it in Krishna's hands. Krishna may punish, Krishna may forgive, that's up to him.
That's
I'm
okay.
happy with serving Krishna. And whatever that person has done to me, so we have to forgive that. We have to forgive that. So what if that is why Vaishnava etiquette, anytime saying some things and getting offended or offending someone knowingly, unknowingly, this will happen because we are not in pure devotional service stage anyway, and we are surrounded by modes all the time, we are controlled by the modes all the time. So such things happen. But if you make up for it right away by genuinely, sometimes simply saying with the lips, I'm sorry, but
That,
we can feel what is in your heart, isn't it? So if we just really just be real, that's all.
that's
So
good.
just say I'm really sorry, and something like this has happened, please forgive me. Vaishnavas don't, like you see in Ambarish Maharaj's case, of course Ambarish Maharaj is a pure devotee, but like Mataji said, Vindhyavali Mataji said, that even ordinarily, those who are pious people, those who are gentle people, uh, you know, they will feel, when someone comes and asks for forgiveness, naturally, you know, because the person is,
Oh, no,
to
all right.
beg for forgiveness is not easy. For those who are proud, it's not easy at all to say sorry. They cannot say.
Never say.
It's not easy. Yeah. So for such a person to actually come and, fall on your feet or even just say sorry, they had to take that step after overcoming their ego so much, crushing their pride. They have to come and say. So when someone asks sorry like that, you don't even want them to actually say it. You just say, it's okay, don't worry, just forget everything, like that. But there are also demoniac people, they don't forgive and rather so that is why they are demoniac people. They are demoniac people, right? Like Kamsa, he had no mercy. So let's continue. Thank you. Ambarish Maharaj is offering prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. Why? Because Sudarshan Chakra is after Durvasa Muni. So Ambarish Maharaj cannot see, is unable to see the condition of Durvasa Muni, and being aggrieved by this, he is offering prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. Ambarisha Uvacha Tvam Agnir Bhagavan Suryas Tvam Somo Jyotisham Patihi Tvam Apas Tvam Kshitir Vyoma Vayur Matrendriyani Cha. So, Aditi Lata Mataji,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Arunita.
And Ambarisha said, O Sudarshan Chakra, you are fire, you are the most powerful sun, you are the moon, the master of all luminaries. You are water, earth, and sky. You are the air, you are the five sense objects, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. You are the senses also. Hare
Yes, Hare Krishna. So, how did Ambrish Maharaj begin his prayers to Sudarshan Chakra? O Sudarshan Chakra, you are fire, you are the most powerful sun, you are the moon, the master of all luminaries. Okay, so how did Srila Prabhupada explain in the summary? If you remember about this, Srila Prabhupada said that the Sudarshan Chakra is the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, you know, the sun and moon are called the eyes of the Supreme Lord. Yes? They are the eyes of the Supreme Lord. That means until and unless there is sun or moon or any form of light, because the source of all light is the sun. Even the light from the moon, the source is the sun. And the light from electricity, the source is the sun. So the sun is the source of all light. So unless there is sun or any form of light, can my eyes see anything? No. Unless the Lord sees, so sun means it's like when there is sunrise in the morning, that means the Lord is glancing, the Lord is seeing, He's opening His eyes, that is sunrise. So unless the Lord sees, we cannot see. So that is why here the Sudarshan Chakra is compared to the sun, the moon, because the Sudarshan Chakra is the Lord's glance. The Sudarshan Chakra is the Lord's glance. Therefore, the Sudarshan Chakra, Ambarish Maharaj is saying, O Sudarshan Chakra, you are fire, you are the most powerful sun, and you are the moon, the master of all luminaries. You are water, earth, and sky. You are air, you are the five sense objects, and you are senses also. Now, how is that? Okay, he is sun because he's the glance of the Supreme Lord. But what happens when the Lord glances? Sa aikshata, sa asrijata. Asrijata means what? Creation. So when the Lord's glance is the cause of creation. When the Lord glances on Prakriti, then there is creation. The Lord's glance is the cause of creation. And the Lord's glance is Sudarshan Chakra. Therefore, Sudarshan Chakra is the cause of creation. And when you say creation, what is there in creation? First of all, you have, the three modes are activated. Then the false ego is created. False ego and goodness, passion and ignorance. Then, intelligence, demigods, the mind, then the demigods, that is from false ego in the mode of goodness. Then in passion, you have intelligence and the senses. Then in ignorance, you have the five gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the sense objects like this. So all this is creation. So therefore, here Ambarish Maharaj is saying, you are the sun, the moon, master of all luminaries. You are water, earth, sky. You are air. You are the five sense objects. And you are the senses also. Because you are the cause of all creation. So you are everything. Like that. Next. Sudarshana namastubhyam sahasrarachyuta priya sarvastra ghatin vipraya swasti bhuya idaspate. So Arunita and Aditi Lata Mataji finished, right? Next, Isha.
Almost favored of Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You have thousands of spokes, O Master of the material world, destroyer of all weapons, original vision of the Personality of Godhead. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Kindly give shelter and be auspicious to this Brahmana.
Now, Ambarish Maharaj is praying to Sudarshan Chakra, continuation. O most favorite of Achyuta. Achyuta means the infallible, right? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the most favorite of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you have thousands of spokes. So Sudarshan is a chakra. Chakra means it will have spokes, right? It has thousands of spokes. O Master of the material world, destroyer of all weapons. What did Srila Prabhupada say? That the Sudarshan Chakra destroys the prowess of all the weapons that it comes in contact with. So, O Sudarshan Chakra, the destroyer of all weapons, original vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, you are the glance of the Supreme Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Kindly give shelter and be auspicious to this Brahman. So, Ambarish Maharaj is praying for Durvasa Muni. He is praying to Sudarshan Chakra to be kind to Durvasa Muni, to give shelter to Durvasa Muni. Okay? And he called him the favorite of the Supreme Lord, the one having 1,000 spokes, and the master of the material world, because creation is beginning from him. The master of the material world, the destroyer of weapons, and the original vision of the Supreme Lord. Please give shelter to this Durvasa Muni. Next. Tvam dharmastvam satyam tvam yajñokhila-yajñabhuk tvam lokapalah sarvatma tvam tejah paurusham param. Okay. Krishna Shish.
O Sudarshana wheel, you are religion, you are truth, you are encouraging statements, you are sacrifice, and you are the enjoyer of the fruits of sacrifice. You are the maintainer of the entire universe, and you are the supreme transcendental prowess in the hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the original vision of the Lord, and therefore you are known as Sudarshana. Everything has been created by your activities, and therefore you are all pervading.
Sudarshan. Darshan means vision, right? Every morning you go and you take darshan of the deities. Darshan means what? You're getting the vision, darshan. Sudarshan, right? Auspicious darshan. So you are the original vision, darshan. Original vision of the Lord. Therefore you are known as Sudarshan. O Sudarshan wheel, you are religion, you are truth, you are encouraging statements, you are sacrifice, you are the enjoyer of the fruits of sacrifice. See, the Lord and his servant and his potency. Shakti Shaktimatayor Abhinnatvat. Right? Shakti and Shaktiman are non-different on one level. And on another level, they are different also. Achintya Bheda Bheda relationship. So the Sudarshan Chakra is being the potency of the Lord, is also as good as the Lord. So, O Sudarshan wheel, you are religion, you are truth, you are encouraging statements, you are sacrifice, you are the enjoyer of the fruits of sacrifice, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, you are the supreme transcendental prowess in the hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? You are the prowess of the Supreme Lord, means you are the power of the Supreme Lord. You are the original vision of the Lord, and therefore you are known as Sudarshan. Everything has been created by your activities, and therefore you are all pervading. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Madhava.
The word Sudarshan means auspicious vision. From Vedic instructions, we understand that this material world is created by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So,
Sa Aikshata Sa Asrijata.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead grants over the Mahatattva, or the total material energy, and when it was vibrated, everything came into existence. Western philosophers sometimes think that there is no cause of creation or that some that exploded. If one thinks of this tongue as the total material energy, the Mahatattva one can understand that sound was agitated by the glance of the Lord, With the Lord's bounty, those who are caught of the material creation.
So here the point is Sudarshan Chakra is the glance of the Supreme Lord. And when the Lord glanced, there was creation. That is the Vedic version. We study. So in the Upanishads it is said, Sa Aikshata, Sa Asrijata. This is in the Vedanta Sutra it is said, Sa Aikshata, Sa Asrijata. So that means Saha means that absolute truth glanced. And by that glance, creation took place. So Prabhupada is comparing with the material theory that how did creation begin? That originally there was a chunk, and in that chunk there was an explosion, and then creation happened. That's one theory of creation. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, so if you take that original creation to be the material energy, Prakriti, and the Lord is glancing. By his glance, this Prakriti becomes agitated and then gives birth to this creation. So that explosion, right, of that chunk, that is because of the glance, and that explosion is actually the agitation of Prakriti, of material nature, material energy. And then the result of that is this material creation. So you can understand it like that. Srila Prabhupada is saying. Okay? Yeah. So the fact is, the Supreme Lord glanced over the Mahat Tattva or total material energy, and then the material energy was agitated. As a result, everything came into existence. That's the fact. Western philosophers sometimes, because they have different theories, it's not just one, they have different philosophies. The Big Bang theory is one, and then they have others also. So Western philosophers sometimes think that the original cause of creation was a chunk that exploded. Now, how you can use that, like you can reconcile that with the Vedic version, Srila Prabhupada is explaining. If one thinks of this chunk as the total material energy Mahatattva, one can understand that the chunk was agitated, or you can say exploded, whatever, by the glance of the Lord, and thus the Lord's glance is the cause of material creation. Okay, so then next verse. Okay, we will stop here. Rasapriya will begin reading tomorrow. I thought I'll just finish all 4 of them, but then there's a purport, so we'll have to stop. If it were only translations, I would have given everyone a turn to read. So we will stop here. Rasapriya will begin reading tomorrow. Let's read Bhagavad Gita. We'll finish the purport to the last verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, text 78. And the verse is Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjun, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained how Dhritarashtra began this Bhagavad Gita by asking a question, and his intention of asking that question was he wanted to make sure that his party, his son and his army, they will get victory. So now Sanjaya is giving conclusion, answer to that question. No, you are not getting any victory. Why? Because wherever there is Krishna, there will be victory, and Krishna is not on your side. He is on the other side. So the other side will get victory, like that. Then also, not only will they get victory, but also they will flourish. After this victory, they will be very opulent. And also, They will be very opulent. There will also, wherever there is Krishna, you understand there is morality. So about Yudhishthir Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that he was righteous and pious, and he was a strict moralist. He never spoke a lie during his life. That's why Krishna is on his side. Because wherever Krishna is present, there will be morality. And Yudhishthir Maharaj was a very strict moralist, very pious, very righteous. So Krishna is on his side. Then further in the purport we read that sometimes people say, so this is the last verse, so we are concluding Bhagavad Gita. So some people say that Bhagavad Gita is just a conversation between two friends. But if it is simply a conversation between two friends, it will not qualify to be a scripture. Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction in morality. Because they say, oh, Krishna made Arjun fight, right? He made him immoral. Arjun was so good in the beginning, but Krishna, he incited Arjun to fight. So this is not moral. But actually, wherever Krishna is, and Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's words, there cannot be anything immoral. There will be supreme morality there. So Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction in morality. That's also explained. Then what is that? Manmana bhava mad bhakta. Supreme instruction in morality is always think of Krishna, become a devotee of Krishna, bow down before Krishna. And the essence of all dharma, all religion is what? To surrender to the Supreme Lord. These instructions are given in Bhagavad Gita, and these instructions constitute supreme morality. There's nothing immoral in this. Like that. And then I just read the remaining. From Bhagavad Gita, we can understand that to realize oneself by philosophical speculation and by meditation is one process, but to fully surrender unto Krishna is the highest perfection. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So this also we read yesterday, that Krishna spoke about other methods also, karma yoga, jnana yoga, like that. But ultimately, the highest is given in the end, sarva dharman parityajya, right? And then there I also said, of course, in the middle 6 chapters, bhakti was mentioned. But again, after that, again, jnana was talked about. So therefore, finally, the conclusion, the highest topic of Bhagavad Gita is surrender to Krishna. That is said. Surrender unto Krishna in devotional service and full Krishna consciousness is the most confidential instruction. That is the essence of the 18th chapter. Another feature of Bhagavad Gita is that the actual truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The absolute truth is realized in 3 features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Perfect knowledge of the absolute truth means perfect knowledge of Krishna. If one understands Krishna, then all the departments of knowledge are part and parcel of that understanding. Again, same, like if you have $100, then that includes $1, $20, $50, everything is there in that. Like that, if you know Krishna, all knowledge, all other departments of knowledge, they are part and parcel of understanding Krishna. Krishna is transcendental, for he is always situated in his eternal, internal potency. The living entities are manifested of his energy and are divided into 2 classes: eternally conditioned and eternally liberated. Such living entities are innumerable, and they are considered fundamental parts of Krishna. Material energy is manifested into 24 divisions. The creation is affected by eternal time, and it is created and dissolved by external energy. This manifestation of the cosmic world repeatedly becomes visible and invisible. So this paragraph is talking about the energies of the Supreme Lord, how the Supreme Lord is realized in different features, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. But all this understanding is included when one understands Krishna, they will understand all other departments of knowledge. And also the energies, internal energy, marginal energy and external energy of Krishna. The rest we will read tomorrow because still there is some more purport and we are running out of time. So we will continue. We'll read the remaining purport tomorrow. Let me read a little bit of Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita before we end today's session. Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita, Volume 1, Chapter 12. After a 35-day journey from Calcutta, the Jaladuta reached Boston's Commonwealth Pier at 5:30 a.m. How many days? 35 days on Jaladuta. The Jaladuta reached Boston's Commonwealth Pier at 5:30 a.m. on September 17th. Look at that. September 17th is very significant. Many things happened on that day. Srila Prabhupada took sannyas on September 17th. He landed in Boston's Commonwealth. He landed in America on September 17th, and His Holiness Bhakticharu Maharaj's appearance day is on September 17th, and he celebrates it as Prabhupada Festival. He always celebrated it as Prabhupada Festival every year. And so, yeah, continuation. The ship was to stop briefly in Boston before proceeding to New York City. So this is like the port of entry, right? They stopped in Boston, entering into US, and from there it would proceed to New York City. Among the first things Srila Prabhupada saw in America were the letters A and P painted on a pier front warehouse, A and P. The grey waterfront dawn revealed the ships in the harbor, a conglomeration of lobster stands and drab buildings, and rising in the distance, the Boston skyline. Prabhupada had to pass through US immigration and customs in Boston. His visa allowed him a 3-month stay, and an official stamped it to indicate his expected date of departure. Captain Pandya invited Prabhupada to take a walk into Boston, where the captain intended to do some shopping. They walked across a footbridge into a busy commercial area with old churches, warehouses, office buildings, bars, tawdry bookshops, nightclubs, and restaurants. So they were just walking in the neighborhood, right, of that pier, Boston Pier. So they walked across a footbridge, they crossed the bridge into a busy commercial area that had old churches, warehouses, office buildings, bars, bookshops, like old bookshops, nightclubs, and restaurants. Prabhupada briefly observed the city, but the most significant thing about his short stay in Boston, aside from the fact that he had now set foot in America, was that at Commonwealth Pier, he wrote another Bengali poem entitled Markine Bhagavat Dharma, Teaching Krishna Consciousness in America. So Markine means in America. Markine Bhagavat Dharma, Teaching Krishna Consciousness in America. Some of the verses he wrote on board the ship that day are as follows. So that we will read tomorrow. We already read one poem that Srila Prabhupada wrote while he composed while he was on Jaladuta, and this is the next one after he took a look at Boston. So we will stop here. Thank you all so much for joining this morning. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, was the poem in Bengali or English? Actually?
Bengali. That's why there it is said, if you want to see the original Bengali, look at the appendix. But here the translation is given. Prabhupada wrote it in Bengali.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.